Most people picture police cars as Chargers, Explorers, or the classic Crown Vic, but it's never military machines built for war zones. Yet across America, departments quietly patrol the streets in vehicles that once served on battlefields. From armored troop carriers now pulling neighborhood patrols to battlefield trucks repurposed for SWAT raids, these transformations are as shocking as they are controversial. And today we're counting down 9 military vehicles you never knew became American police cars, and number 1 might just leave you speechless. Number 9. AM General Humvee is one of the most recognizable military vehicles ever built. It's rugged, boxy, and designed to survive harsh war zones. So seeing one with police lights instead of camouflage instantly feels just wrong. But yes, American police departments actually use real military Humvees, and not just in extreme situations. What would make a police department roll out a 7,000-pound battlefield truck onto suburban streets? And why does a vehicle built for Iraq and Afghanistan suddenly appear in places where the fastest threat is a speeding Honda Civic? Most civilians don't know that thousands of surplus Humvees were released through the 1033 program, allowing police departments to acquire them for shockingly low prices, sometimes just the cost of transport. With unbeatable ground clearance, massive tires, and unstoppable off-road capability, Humvees become assets for SWAT rescues, disaster zones, deep flood response, and rural operations where normal squad cars simply cannot go. But the downsides are huge, some being the terrible fuel economy, deafening cabin noise, slow top speeds, brutal maintenance costs, and awkward maneuvering on tight urban streets. They were never designed for city policing, which is why people freak out when they see one idling at a neighborhood intersection. The Humvee may be effective, but it's also a reminder of how military vehicles have quietly made their way into civilian law enforcement. Number 8. The MRAP was never meant for American neighborhoods. It was engineered for Iraq and Afghanistan, built to survive roadside bombs, ambushes, and insurgent fire. Yet through the federal 1033 surplus program, hundreds of these battlefield giants quietly rolled into U.S. police fleets. But what happens when a vehicle designed to deflect explosions ends up patrolling a quiet suburban street? And why would a town with a population of 12,000 suddenly own something that looks and moves like a military tank? The MRAP's extreme protection is undeniably useful in hostage rescues, natural disasters, and riot barricading, where officers need armor thick enough to stop rifles and debris. But once the shock factor wears off, the drawbacks become impossible to ignore. At nearly 20 tons, MRAPs destroy tires, strain engines, and cost a fortune to maintain. Their size makes tight urban maneuvering nearly impossible, and fuel consumption is catastrophic. Many departments that accepted them later admitted they underestimated the operational costs. And for the public, seeing a towering war zone vehicle rumbling past strip malls and playgrounds sparks a simple question of, why does my town need something built to survive a bomb? And if seeing that roll through your neighborhood raises eyebrows, just wait until you hear about the next one. Number 7. The Lenco Bearcat isn't technically a military vehicle, but one look at it and you'd swear it rolled straight off a battlefield. Built like an armored personnel carrier, it's become the go-to machine for SWAT teams across the U.S., especially during high-risk operations. But what happens when a battle-ready truck designed for hostage rescues ends up patrolling regular American neighborhoods? The Bearcat is built with bulletproof glass, a reinforced armored hull, tactical side rails, and elevated observation towers, features you'd normally expect from Special Forces convoys, not local police units. It allows departments to approach barricaded suspects, execute dangerous warrants, and transport officers in situations too risky for standard cruisers. The controversy comes from its appearance and psychological weight. Many residents see it as a symbol of over-militarization, especially when it's deployed during protests or public disturbances. Even though police argue it's a defensive vehicle, the optics spark instant debate about how much military hardware is too much for community policing. And trust me, if you think the Bearcat looks intense, wait until you see the next vehicle on this list. Number 6. The M35 Deuce and a Half is one of the most iconic military cargo trucks ever built. They're massive, loud, and practically unbreakable. And believe it or not, some U.S. police departments now use them. But what happens when a 1950s battlefield workhorse ends up patrolling American neighborhoods? And why would modern police departments choose a truck this old, this huge, and this slow? Most departments get the M35 as military surplus, meaning they can acquire a giant, disaster-ready truck for a fraction of the normal cost. And for emergency scenarios like wildfires, hurricane aftermath, deep floods, rural rescues, The M35 is a monster. Its simple diesel engine can run forever. Its high ground clearance lets it reach trapped civilians, and its steel construction is almost impossible to kill. But for everything outside disaster response, the M35 becomes a liability. It's painfully slow, has a massive turning radius, and the braking system is straight out of another century. Maneuvering it through tight city streets is difficult, fueling it is expensive, and storing it is a headache. Number 5. The Oshkosh MTV is a massive military-grade supply truck designed to survive war zones, not suburban traffic. Yet somehow a surprising number of U.S. police departments now have one sitting in their motor pools. But what happens when a vehicle built to haul gear through explosions, mud pits, and collapsed roads ends up responding to everyday American emergencies? And more importantly, why did police even decide this battlefield giant was worth adopting? The MTV's origin is pure military engineering with a towering chassis, deep water fording ability, and the strength to carry several tons of equipment across terrain where normal trucks would snap in half. Police departments use them for disaster response, moving officers, retrieving stranded families, or for usually hard-to-reach areas. But that power comes with real headaches. The MTV is enormous, often too tall and too long for city streets, making storage and maneuvering a nightmare. Replacement parts are expensive, maintenance requires specialized mechanics, and fuel consumption is as brutal as you'd expect from a truck designed to survive explosions. It's a lifesaver in disasters, but a logistical beast the rest of the year. Number 4. The Polaris MRZR is a lightweight, ultra-agile, special forces buggy that police departments have adapted for high-speed off-road operations, border patrol, and search and rescue missions. This vehicle is also the answer to how officers chase suspects across terrain that normal patrol vehicles can't touch. The MRZR's speed, maneuverability, and compact size make it perfect for navigating forests, deserts, or rugged rural areas. Officers can quickly reach locations inaccessible to traditional vehicles, and its off-road performance is unmatched. But the benefits come with clear trade-offs. The open seating leaves officers exposed, there's zero armor protection, and the vehicle is extremely loud, which announces your arrival to anyone nearby. While thrilling to see in action, its use in civilian areas often shocks the public, who aren't used to seeing a military-grade buggy racing through their streets. Number 3. The iconic Vietnam-era UH-1 Huey isn't just history, it's now part of some sheriff's office fleets. These helicopters are often gifted or acquired at low cost, giving departments aerial capabilities without a huge purchase price. Ever looked up and thought, wait, is that a Vietnam chopper flying over my town? Despite their vintage, Hueys are still incredibly useful. Police use them for mountain rescues, wildfire mapping, and aerial surveillance that would be impossible from the ground. The helicopters are surprisingly cheap to acquire, but can be expensive to maintain and operate, requiring specialized pilots and constant upkeep. Seeing one hovering over your city streets can be shocking, especially when most people associate it with war zones rather than everyday policing. For departments, it's a powerful tool, and for the public, it's a startling glimpse of military-grade hardware now patrolling the skies. Number 2. The LAV 150 started life as a military reconnaissance vehicle, but police departments have repurposed it for high-risk operations. Fully armored with high ground clearance, it's perfect for hostage rescues, evacuations, and any situation where officers need maximum protection. But this leads us to question whether we would ever wonder what it feels like to see a military-grade vehicle rolling down our neighborhood streets. The LAV 150's presence alone is intimidating, instantly commanding attention and respect. Its armor and mobility allow officers to safely approach dangerous situations, protect civilians, and execute high-risk maneuvers. But this power comes at a cost because the vehicle is thirsty for fuel, parts are increasingly scarce, and drivers require specialized training to operate it safely. While it's an invaluable tool for departments, the public can't help but be shocked when seeing what looks like a tank cruising through city streets isn't exactly ordinary. It's a prime example of military hardware crossing over into everyday policing, blending practicality with spectacle. Number 1. The Oshkosh LATV isn't just another military vehicle. It's the next-generation replacement for the Humvee in the U.S. military. Police departments acquiring one is practically unheard of. These rare machines look almost identical to their combat-ready counterparts, with armored exteriors and high mobility. Can you imagine a $400,000 battlefield machine rolling through your city streets in police colors? For the few departments lucky enough to get their hands on an LATV, it's a game changer. Its off-road capability, armor protection, and sheer presence make it ideal for extreme situations, from rescue missions to high-risk tactical operations. But for the public, the reaction is priceless, because most people are completely shocked to see what looks like a military-grade vehicle patrolling their neighborhoods. Police fleets in the U.S. are evolving in ways most people never expected. Each of these vehicles serves a purpose, with armored trucks protecting officers and civilians, helicopters providing aerial surveillance and rescue, and agile buggies reaching areas conventional patrol cars can't. Yet this shift raises questions about over-militarization, public perception, and the balance between safety and intimidation. Seeing a vehicle designed for combat in your neighborhood is not just surprising. It's part of a larger conversation about how law enforcement adapts to modern threats. But what do you think? Which of these military vehicles surprised you the most? And would you feel safer or more nervous seeing one patrolling your neighborhood? Let us know your thoughts. Thanks for watching.